We've been married for 18 years and have 5 wonderful kids together.
God, we chose each other, I would say, by fate. We're actually talking about this last night, how we feel like our marriage was like an arranged marriage by God.
You know, we were talking here and there, but like every week, new classes, new life. And then it was like I came home just to visit for a weekend. And when I saw her and we just chilled and our connection was so strong, even though we're like apart, thing, I'm coming home and this is what she's gonna tell me, like, listen, long distance relationships don't work, blah, blah, blah. And it was like, oh snap, we have something. Like, it was really special. I'm like, oh, I don't wanna lose you. Forget these girls and distractions in school. It was like, I got something good at home.
And so our platform is The Way. It's going to soon to be theway.org. We are a nonprofit, just established that nonprofit last week. So we're finally a live, actual nonprofit.
Yeah, and then the process learn while he does all of this stuff. So
she's part of it. She don't give herself enough credit.
But I'm learning too, because I'd rather be better at something than to just jump right in. But he's a great teacher and a great supporter too with me too. So it's.
So one of the things I noticed that you guys kind of connected on, and I'm talking about you, the Igwes and the Mezzotins, is a finance piece of things. So I know you guys, definitely educate yourself on finance, educate yourself on building and investing in each other. So I'm gonna ask the Igwes exactly, like, your platform not only talks about finance, but it also does some touch on relationship as well. So how many podcasts do you guys have out so far?
Right now we've got 4, but the 5th one coming out later on today. And 2 of the 4 are about finance. 2 are about relationships. So we're kind of trying to get the philanthropy episodes out this weekend, but the finance piece, it's been, part of my history, and like the Mezzotins do, like as a unit, we work together. So whatever I learned in finance, I share with my wife.
Could you sum up each podcast? Just give us a briefing of what people are going to hear when they, go and listen to each one of your podcasts.
All right. So episode 1 is like an introduction on investing. Episode 2 is how to double investments in certain conditions. Episode 3 is our introduction to relationship series, and episode 4 is setting the stage relationship series again. So, those 2 is basically 2 on relationships, 2 on investing, so they can kind of get some insight on those subjects on our podcast. So
I think episode 1 and 2 are extremely important, especially if you want to gain some new knowledge and insight surrounding finance. Banaj does a really good job at talking about investing in stocks and, just really how to approach the market, which I think a lot of people sometimes are afraid to do. I know I was initially. He said, hey, let's invest. And he breaks it down in such a way that it's palatable to everyone, right? Like, you can understand exactly what he's saying. The 3rd episode is, like Banaj said, an introduction to our relationship series. So we talk about how we met each other. We talk about the importance of a relationship before getting into one. And the fact that neither of us were actually looking for a relationship when we met. And then the 4th episode is kind of me just talking through, setting the stage. What are your expectations? Being realistic with yourself, and having some introspective thought into, who you are and what value you bring to a relationship versus, what you're looking to get out of the next person. So I think that, people will really enjoy them. And I really do hope that we get some feedback on, what they want to hear going forward in the future. And the next ones are going to be more so philanthropy focused, right? So how we got started on that, and hopefully getting some insight from folks that have been doing it for a while as well.
That was a good time.
So my thing is, like they said, business, they're supposed to separate business from family and things like that, but you guys seem to be making it work. So how has it affected your relationship as far as you guys building a business together?
All right. Well, I mean, for me, I think going into a relationship is sort of like going into a business. It has the same characteristics. You have to have work, shared responsibilities, shared expectations and results that matter. Like, you know, business is very similar. I think sometimes business and family doesn't work because there is a disconnect in the communication between what's expected and what is happening. So for my wife and I, we go into everything with expectations. We say, hey, listen, we're going to do this. Okay, we're doing it together. I need you to do this. I need you to do that. She's like, well, I need you to do this. Okay, fine. So we go and we separate out responsibilities. We make it work. That right there is a train. It'll be coming soon. So
I was like, we got jingles, okay.
outdoors, man. That's when you're doing outdoors. You gotta have
Background music.
But yeah, so we decided to work together, and it's been great. You know, my wife is really good at a lot of media type stuff, and I'm really good at other things. So together,
Everything. He's
we
really good
combine-
at everything.
we combine those two, and it just works. You know, we like to work in each other's strength. That's one thing that we pride ourselves on. You know, if I'm good at something, let me do it. Let me lead it. If you're good at something, I'm gonna let you do it. Let you lead it. And that works. You know,
Yeah.
give folks something that they're passionate about. Let them run with it. And you know, so that's how this kind of worked, and it's been working.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good initiator. Hopefully the train doesn't come, but right,
It'll come.
like he's a good starter, self-starter, and so he takes the lead on a lot of things. And you know, I'm like, hey, let me not get left behind. And I think we both know what our strong suits are. I'm wrapping it up. I'll pass it to the Mezitins, and we'll come back because this train is coming.
20 seconds.
That's fine. All right, Madison. So as you see, you know, they're able to build theirs, but you guys have like an extra thing behind. You got a whole family that you have to, you know, lead and help to build and to fall in line with this. So how does building your business work with you having, you know, the 5 kids and the home and everything like that? How has it brought you guys together?
Well, one thing I could say is that we always have to have structure. And if we don't have structure, then we don't have stability. Our kids are a handful. All right, I could say that they can be a handful. 5 kids is a handful, and I don't know how much I could emphasize on that, but they are. But what we do is communicate. Communication is key with us. If for instance, like if something has to happen right away, and I'm stuck in a certain area where I know I can't get out of, he always picks up and either get it started or finish it.
Mhm.
And with us, like it's either or. Like we literally, if I can't do it, he can do it. If he can't do it, then I can do it. Like we always try to try to find easy ways to complete the task. For instance, my son, my 4-year-old, he actually does online schooling and therapy. He was stuck in a business call, and I had no idea on how to connect it and everything. So what I did was, you know what? I just worked on it, and I said, you know what? I see the link. Let me just try my best here. And then my daughter, she helped me like complete it. And I was like, oh my gosh. Then all of a sudden, there goes all 5, 6 kids and teachers and everything. And he's connecting, and the progress of everything, him talking, because he has a speech problem. So the fact that I got it, and my daughter helped me, and I like went through the whole process of getting it connected and everything, and I saw how happy he was. That just put a lot of feeling, like that just like made me so happy. And like I was like, okay, there's one thing I can do without my husband. Let's see what else I can do. But we always try to connect and make sure things get done. If there's no communication, then how are we going to work this out, you know? And that's one thing about us, 100%. We communicate and like try to like manage and take care of everything. Yeah.
True.
So is that one of the topics that you address? The main focus is when you're doing your speech.
Okay, so my main focus, just because it's the best thing that you can talk about, is talk about yourself, is I just dissect different parts of life, like of growing up. I call it mind investing, but it was certain books that really transformed the way I thought, like at a certain period of life. And I was able to now introduce that to my wife and my kids. And then it changed all of us. And I was like, okay, we're going to move forward different. We're not going to keep going back into bad habits. We're going to move forward. Like when I read Boundaries, because I couldn't tell my kids to read this book, but I could dissect this book and now give it to my kids in a way where they're practicing boundaries. They understand when to say yes, when to say no, how to take control over their life, and everything's a choice. And, you know, one of the things I learned from that book was your life is what you create or what you allow. So then I just got it. And when I look at stuff happening in the world, we're very open with our kids. If there's one thing, you know, when you meet our kids, all of them from 15-year-old to 3-year-old, they're all happy. And we don't have, like, we've been blessed. I don't know. It's like, it's a reflection of us, but our kids are happy. Like, all they do is smile, laugh. They don't like other kids, we be outside and they'll be pointing out, like, what's wrong with that kid? I'm like, yeah, that's what you call a tantrum. I'm like, we don't know about all that. Like, don't even pay attention too much. It might be contagious. Like, we don't play with that stuff. It's like, and even like their teachers and stuff, they always come back no matter what school we've been to. They always come back and be like, your kids are like my favorite. Your son has my heart, and I don't want to play favorites, but it's like, your kids are like, really? And I'm like, well, that's how they should be, right? It's like I'm
yeah,
sorry,
that's a surprise nowadays.
yeah, these days, and our kids come and tell us, but we're open, you know, where we're definitely, we don't know the future, but we know the now, and we really focus on, like, you know, these are our kids, these are our legacy, and we want to just teach them everything we know as we're learning it so they can, like, take it, but also that, you know, there's more to life. And I teach them, just like we know, we're an example for other people, even the people we don't know, and they're an example for other kids and their friends. So we're growing together, literally. We're growing because we started so early, and we're raising ourselves while we're raising kids, but they're raising us in certain ways. They're demanding, like, more strength from us, more confidence, everything that they're, like, lacking at a time. We know that, all right, we need to pick it up more because they're going to mimic us. So like I want my kids to be successful. Now I gotta be even more successful. Now I gotta invest more. Now I gotta read more. I want them to do everything. We gotta do it 10 times more so they could at least take it.
Yeah, and that's the thing about them. They always come to us with questions that are out of the blue. And then it like puts us in a corner, like, okay, why? Why now? But then, like, we do our best to, like, answer the questions in a nice and respectful way and everything. But they seem to get it. And what we do is, after those questions, we look up more information on it just so we could reiterate it back to them and let them, like, school them some more on it. But it's pretty good with them.
Love that. We adore you guys. That is
Yeah.
so
Likewise.
Having happy kids.
We adore you guys too.
Happy kids is the key. I mean, I feel like that right there is, everybody wants that.
Well, people look up to you guys as a couple. So how does it feel to know that you guys are an example of what we call relationship goals? Anyone you don't want to start? You guys?
Yeah.
We'll take it. Relationship goals. I mean, I feel like I'm one of the last of my boys to, like, actually get married. And I know, like, I've always looked at them and their relationships, and I'm like, wow, you guys are lucky to find each other. I want something like that. And I could never have imagined that I would have found this. And that to me is amazing, but it's also God. You know, God did most of that. He found us and we found each other through him. And I think now we look back and we realize that we are now an example. You know, we have to leave something behind. See whether it is just how we treat each other or how we raise kids in the future. That legacy is the most important thing to us, and it's a part of our core business model. You know, I mean, we take what's in us and we apply it to the things we want to help in the world. So we want folks to be well off. We want folks to have love. We want folks to leave something behind for their kids, because unfortunately our community doesn't have that in all cases.
Yeah,
that's true.
We're missing on some of these areas. So we want to leave that last part, most importantly, like the Mezzotins said, the legacy, leaving something that can be here longer than we are. That's the game now. You know, we found each other, so now it's time to
build. It's time to grow.
That's right.
And it's like Manoj said, extending that knowledge, you know, to the community. It's so important for us to have the ability to give back in all areas. And I think making sure that, you know, like the Mezzotin said, we're raising kids that are happy, but just good humans. I say that to Manoj all the time. I just want to raise good human. Like I want people on this earth, and that is so crucial, because they'll be able to also leave a mark, and hopefully they see what their parents are doing and also want to pass that on, right? Like, let's continue to make sure that we're giving back, you know, that financial wealth and knowledge to the community. Let's continue to give back the power of love, and let's continue back, you know, from a philanthropy standpoint too. Like, we want to help people. That is what drives us. And I think what Benaj said just now, like, we sought God first and then he blessed us with each other. I always say that. And that's really what this is. And so if people are seeing us and saying, hey, you know, their relationship goals, I mean, God is the foundation of this thing. We know that he is the core of who we are, and without him, we are nothing. And that's what keeps us so strong, at least so far.
Hey, Millicents. Top it. No, I'm kidding.
It's crazy, because we have people that come up to us all the time asking us, how do we do it? Or how do we keep it together? How do we stay focused and everything? It's time and patience. Like, if you don't have that, like, then why are you even in a relationship?
Right.
You have to take the time to hear each other out. Take the time to, like, learn, know what's going on. And I think with us, we like to take the time to, like, I mean, when he gets into his ways, sometimes I'm like, you know what? Okay, how can we make this better? Okay, but you know what? And then he'll jump in and say, okay, help me help you. And I'm like, that's the same thing I just asked you. But you know what? There goes the communication and the
Right.
So, you know, it's just paying attention. Like, you know, like, I try to preach as much to my friends, like, look, pay attention. Know what your spouse wants, know how he feels, like, you know, just learn from him. And if he doesn't know that much about you, like, it's not hard to ask a question like, do you know this much? Like, do you feel you know what I like, you know? Inspire each other, you know, just ask. And I don't think a question is hard to ask.
No. Well, yes, I agree. So just to touch on the ways, it's definitely God. And I think when we first started, we thought it was us. And when we were hitting walls, that's when we realized God was just like, I was waiting for you guys. And he was like, finally. So then when we realized, oh, I'm sorry, we got you from when we were a child. And then we put God back in and had a different relationship than going to church as routine and building a relationship with God. As adults, and then that's when it all started to really come together. We can see the purpose of it all, and we just, you know, we keep moving forward. We're always growing. We're gonna figure it out, and we're not perfect. We always remind each other we're not perfect. We're not, but we just try to do things that just make us feel like this is the best thing that's ever like created. So we tell our kids, you guys are the best kids. We've lied to our kids and told their teachers have told us that they're the favorite students in the class and they're the best, but they didn't want to tell them because they didn't want them to feel any type of way better. But we've been telling our kids that they're beautiful and everybody, and we tell them like everybody else says it too. So our kids' confidence level is crazy high. It's like you can't tell them nothing because they're like, no. It's like if somebody said you're ugly, they're like, no. My mommy and my daddy, my cousins, my aunties, my teachers, and everybody else already told me how special, how beautiful, how smart.
That's right.
That is right. And still that confidence.
So that's all, you know, we're just trying to make the best of it and every day and just keep on growing and meeting people like all of you, man. This is awesome.
Well, I have to say thank you guys so much for being here. I do appreciate it, and I hope that everyone will notice and learn from you guys. And please don't be afraid to subscribe. The links and their contacts will be below. And if you can't get it there, you can always get it on my webpage. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. And thank you for being a part of this segment called Supporting Your Success. Love you guys.
Love you too. Bye-bye.